I teach at the Interactive Telecommunications program at NYU, and one of my spring seminar is a social software seminar. So students work in groups to pick a piece of software to go analyze. How does it work? What are the features? What are the users doing, and so forth. And last year, one of those groups picked myBarackObama.com, the social network launched by the Barack Obama for President campaign. And by midterm, they came back and they gave their sort of field report, and they said, not so social, right? The funny thing about myBarackObama.com, when you look at it, is that there's really only about 3 things you can do on the actual site, right? You can join a group, right? Add your name to this group. You can donate money, or you can recruit people to join groups or donate money, right? And almost everything else is driven effectively off the site, right? Have meetings in your community, the mailing list is over here. So it looks like MySpace or Facebook, but in fact, the lateral social interaction between the users is highly constrained. And you can see this, I mean, you could pick any group. I happen to have picked Latinos for Obama, but join, spread, learn, and then making a difference. Find events, register to vote, volunteer. None of it is communicate with each other on the site. None of it is help us figure out what we should do. Right? Now, the Obama campaign is making the best use of social software we've ever seen in a presidential campaign. The Dean campaign was all tactics, right? They would say, and they said several times during the campaign, we're just running alongside trying to keep up, right? The Obama campaign has done this strategically. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they needed in a site like this, and they've designed this site around exactly those goals. Raise money, raise awareness, get out the vote. But my students predicted that at some point, the tension between what the site seems to hold out, a social network in which the users can have this real open conversation with one another, and what Obama's goals in having such a site are, that at some point those 2 things were going to come into collision. And that day was last Wednesday with FISA, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. The politics of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act are tremendously complicated. I won't even try to do them justice here, but the issue within the Obama campaign is that there is at least suspicion that some of the telephone companies, some of the telecommunications companies in the US engaged in warrantless and potentially unconstitutional spying on US persons, on citizens of the US, in a way that should have been controlled legally but may not have been. We don't yet know. And there is now a bill, and in fact it's been debated for several months, that would grant them retroactive immunity should unconstitutional activities have occurred. In January, Obama said, I am against immunity. But recently, he has supported this compromise bill. Right? And needless to say, this has upset the civil libertarians within his community. What they said was, if all the My Barack Obama site does is let us join things and announce our presence to the world, we'll make that the protest. And the Senator Obama, please vote no on telecom immunity, get FISA right, Obama group was born. Right? And the act of joining the group is the protest. This is the start page. I'm going to take a moment now to make a separate point before getting back to the Obama story, because I think it really matters here. If you talk to someone who tells you about this wonderful world of self-organized groups, bottom-up action, the hive mind, they're probably blowing smoke. That's not what's happening, right? Large groups almost never get anything done spontaneously, right? The bias is if you previously had to have a manager to tell the group what to do, and we can't identify a manager anymore, then the group must just be self-organized, right? If you look at the actual data, and I mean for open source projects, for wikis, for political action, for social networks, that never is actually the case for large-scale efforts. There are some small-scale examples, half a dozen people spontaneously do something. But if you're seeing some large effect in the world, it is almost certain that what you are looking at is a large group of moderately interested participants whose work is brought into place by a small group of complete obsessives. Right? So this is a little bit hard to read, but I'm going to try and narrate what actually happened, because the way the press has covered this is, out of the blue, on the 2nd of July, the Senator Obama, please vote no on FISA group came into being and this protest started. But if you go and you look at the actual list of the members of the group, you'll see that it wasn't founded on 7/2, it was founded on 6/26. And all these green dots up here say, yes, these people have administrative privileges. So these people spent a week planning amongst themselves before launching this self-organized bottom-up protest. Right? There is a core group in operation here, and this is true in all large-scale efforts. Now, they are not managers as of right. There is no article of incorporation. They don't have titles. But they're the people who made it happen. And then they opened the floodgates. And the thing started to spread. And at the very bottom of this, you'll see page 1 of 777 pages just like this. Right? This is a slice from yesterday of 1 hour of email traffic. 20 messages an hour during daylight hours from this group. The largest group on myBarackObama.com by far. Right. Now the message here isn't, oh, the netroots is going to transform politics. They're not, right? Obama's early supporters are considerably to the left of the American electorate, right? And so there's always going to be, almost by definition, a degree of marginalization when the campaign moves from the primary to the general, right? And the message is not, the man is going to keep them down, right? We should definitely get FISA immunity out. It's a hard political question. It's not clear what Obama should be doing. He issued a statement on Thursday, actually, that said, right, I'm going to maintain my current position, but I understand this, and it was essentially an offering of dialogue. The message I think that's most important here is that even people who understand this stuff natively, right, even people who have as much incentive and capability to get this right, don't have the ability to control everything. Right? That this is actually a hybrid model between a highly organized campaign that's focused on one particular goal, get Obama elected, and a group of people who share that goal but can't be treated like employees, even by proxy. Right? And I don't know how this will play out. This is very much in action right now, so I can't tell this story with a beginning, middle, and end. But even the Obama campaign, with all of the design that went into My Barack Obama, was not able to control this sort of thing, because once you put these tools in people's hands, they will invent their own kinds of value. As with the Flickr tutorial on HDR, right? As with the Belarusian kids adapting flash mobs to their own use, right? As with this example. Right? And that's the book. Group action just got easier. We now have the tools for incredible experimentation with the ways people find each other and the ways they share, collaborate, and take collective action together. And the thing that's the most interesting to me is not having documented the stories in the past, but as we can see from this story, being aware that this pattern is around us and that the amount of experimentation going on around it is going to increase. We're just at the beginning of these changes.